What is up, guys? My name is Jar, back at it with another video. Basically, in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how exactly I made $672,000 with just one hoodie, and it's really a lot simpler than you might think. So, just to kick things off, this is my brand Angelic, previously known as Angelic Motion. Got 100K on both Instagram and TikTok. This is me sitting on a pile of orders. This was back in 2023, after we had that little run. But yeah, this is me. 10K a day, 100K months, this is what I do. And yeah, this is all with one product, literally all with one product. And I can refresh this for y'all, just so y'all can see. Yeah, literally with one product, as you can tell right here. Yeah, so it's important that we establish two things first, and this is very crucial and very essential. Otherwise, all this shit is not gonna work, right? So all the things that I can tell you, when it comes to marketing, running ads, creating winning offers, or etc. It's none of that is gonna work unless you establish these two things first. So number one, being PMF, and number two, being PMF. So what these both two PMFs mean is essentially this is right. This is your price market fit. This is your product market fit. Or actually, this is the other way around. Product market fit, price market fit. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important that we understand both of these, right? So everyone already understands the aspect of having a winning product, right? Having a winning product, unlocking product market fit. But no one really understands the idea of product market fit, which is essentially having a compelling offer that drives people to buy, right? So there's a couple ways that you can test product market fit. That being, you can test it through Facebook ads actually, and then you can test it through Instagram, right? So, like if you're posting organically on Instagram, on IG, you can get feedback from your customers and from the algorithm based off the engagement metrics and whatnot. But this is the post right here. As you can see, got 12,000 likes. A lot of that engagement is actually due to me running ads on this, but as you can see, it's just a flat lay carousel showing off the product, as you can see, in a compelling way. And I actually had Quan comment on this, saying that he needed a hoodie way back when this had dropped. But as you can see, based off the initial feedback, I knew that, this would be a good product. So it's very essential. And if you don't have that organic presence, you can actually do the paid way, which a lot of people don't understand. But this is just the ad account for the Instagram right here. I don't really run much. This is all boost posts and whatnot. But as you can see, I like to look at the cost per result. So basically, I run profile visits like boost posts, right? That little blue button that you click when you want to boost a post on Instagram. And basically, what this does is, right, you can essentially look at your cost per click on average per account, and basically for posts that have a lower cost per click, you can see that it resonates in some way with that consumer. You know what I'm saying? So the shorts actually had a 21 cent cost per click, as you can see, and that was just these, right? So if I stack that up and compare that against, where is it, our actual product that I'm showcasing here, it has a 9 cent cost per click. So it's essentially double or half the cost in terms of getting an impression and getting an engagement. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of a sneak peek of what you can do on that side of things. But I actually have a even more advanced secret strategy that I personally use that no one talks about, and I learned this from my mentor. He does 9 figures a year in revenue and manages hundreds of millions of dollars in ad spend. And basically, what that is essentially you run a traffic campaign, right? Or you run or awareness campaign rather, right? So you're running an awareness campaign because your CPM is going to be a lot cheaper versus if you were running, let's say, a purchase conversion campaign. Because with purchase conversion campaigns, you're attacking a higher quality audience in the ad auction. You know what I'm saying? Because you're essentially optimized for people who want to purchase, right? But with an awareness campaign, you're just optimizing for people, to view your ad essentially, right? And there's sub optimizations that you can get into. I get more in depth with that in my program and in my Telegram, where I give free sauce on the day-to-day. But as you can see, CPMs $1 or less. Very cheap to get a lot of impressions. And basically, what you do is, right, you you set a cap at the number of impressions, right? So you're basically running a scientific experiment. You're isolating all the variables, and the only variable that you're changing is essentially the creative, which will be the actual product itself, right? So what I do is, right, I set a max cap. This one, on this run of test, I set it at 20,000 impressions, right? And essentially from here, I would just look at the soft metrics from link clicks, cost per click, click through rate, clicks, etc. Right? And basically the product that got the most amount of clicks and the better metrics, like the higher click-through rate and lower CPC and things of that nature, I would have more confidence in actually, going through that whole long, arduous process of, ordering a sample, then ordering a bulk, and then promoting that drop. You know what I mean? So this can give you really good actual insights for relatively cheap, because the CPMs are only $1 or so. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So using this test, I actually produced this gem flannel right here. As you can see right here, I actually produced that using that information, and it did very well for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sold out pretty much on all that, and still need to restock. Like these keep flying. You know what I'm saying? So like really using a data driven approach when it comes to product testing is the new wave, right? So yeah, that's the secret strategy used. And then in order for all of this to work, right, you have to go back to the fundamentals and back to the basics. And that is just like knowing your audience, right? Knowing your target audience. You feel what I'm saying? So like if I was creating these style of hoodies, right, I gotta create it to my ideal customer profile. You know what I'm saying? And basically this is my target audience, that kind of like young nigga type aesthetic. You feel what I'm saying? So if I were to create clothing that more match like a opium style aesthetic, you know what I'm saying, it wouldn't resonate and I wouldn't get the same results, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you know your audience. You know what I'm saying? And even like this was my second drop with my brand, and so like the first drop, it had the no motions, just motion, right? Our brand name was Angelic Motion, right? So just tying it all back in that same loop, you know what I'm saying? So this one just said motion keeps me in motion, you know what I mean? And it kind of tied to that same aesthetic, like the same type of people who bought these would buy this, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of my thought process with that. And then when it actually comes to actually creating concepts and products yourself, you can either A, design yourself, or B, you can hire a designer. You know what I mean? So I personally use both, but for the most part, like all of the products on my website, I pretty much design myself because I'm skilled in Photoshop. Like this is my little design board right here. I just design on a weekly basis, you feel what I'm saying, and get samples. Or, you know what I'm saying, you can hire a designer, you know what I mean? Yeah, so you can literally like, if you're going the designer route, you know what I mean, you can just simply like go on Instagram and shit, and search up like Instagram design, or not Instagram designer, but like clothing designer. And there's a bunch of designers, they're from third world countries. And, you can get a design for like 50, 60 dollars, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know why it's not loading right now. But literally like clothing designer or like streetwear designer, you know what I'm saying? So the first dude who pops up, as you can see, you know what I'm saying? And different designers got different aesthetics or whatnot. Yeah, and if you like a design, you just hit them up and then tell them to change certain things, you know what I'm saying? So essentially, have people, sorry, my manufacturer distracted me. Essentially, just have people better than you do what they're good at, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not good at designing, that's okay, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to be great at designing. You can just outsource that, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can do that, or you can like go on Pinterest or whatever, you feel what I'm saying, and get inspiration. When it comes to creating new products, like this hard, I like this, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just taking inspiration from a whole bunch of sources, right? Boom. And you want to utilize Virgil Abloh's 3% rule. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to like creating clothing brands and creating designs, a lot of people like to, be this virtuous person, and they want to design themselves, be original, you know what I'm saying? But if you really look at the basics, like no thought or design or piece of art is original, because there's always something behind that inspired you to make that piece, if you get what I'm saying. So when it came to making this piece, there was this actual other brand in this space. They were popping at the time, and they created these rock star hoodies, you feel what I'm saying? And I like the style of it, you know what I'm saying? I didn't jack it one-to-one, but I like the style of it. As you can see, like you could probably tell you could probably tell like the similarities. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but I like the style of it. You feel me? And when it comes to business or when it comes to life in general, like you can either be right or you can be rich. You know what I'm saying? You can either be right or you can either be rich. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you feel me? If something is proven and you know it's proven, you feel me? Just work off that. You know what I'm saying? Work off that. You know, Virgil did this a lot with his off-white. Like if you look at his off-white like shoes or whatever, you feel me? It's basically just Nike shoes with an added tag and air and shit. Like yeah, it's just like you know what I'm saying. He worked off a winning concept. You know, the Jordan ones, and then just added his low 3%. You know what I'm saying? And this is by Virgil. You know what I'm saying? Don't take my word, take Virgil's word. You feel what I'm saying? And that leads us to our next point, which is essentially price market fit. Now, when I initially launched, right, when I initially launched these products, I actually launched it at a $68 price point, as you can see here. Hold up. As you can see here, $68. And for context, these were $58, you know what I'm saying? So I just moved it a price up, you know what I mean? And we did 7K on drop day, you know what I mean? But just always testing, always experimenting. And I actually dropped the price down to $58 just to see how that would do. But even on drop day, this is kind of like the metrics. We had a $75 AOV, 3.87 conversion rate, things of that nature. And then, yeah, once I dropped it to that $58 price point, that's when I started to see like more volume and velocity of sales. You know what I'm saying? Like currently, like we out of stock pretty much with these hoodies, but let me do this. But yeah, $58 price point. That's where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like I said, 7K on drop day. And to take this a level deeper, you know what I mean? Because back then I just blindly like tested or whatever, but now you can actually have tools, you know what I'm saying? So I use Intelligence like $500 a month, but basically with this you could actually run like actual data driven statistical significance tools, you feel what I'm saying? And you can get the actual like conversion rate lift or decrease in revenue per visitor, profit per visitor, AOV, things of that nature, right? So you can actually have significance and statistics on that. So as you can see here, I did a price test on this one, and even though the conversion rate went down, my overall profit per visitor went up. So it was a net positive for the business. You know what I'm saying? Even though it was a small margin, it still was a net positive. Because when you're driving hundreds of thousands of visitors, you know what I'm saying, on your site, you know, small marginal gains and lifts can really make movements and move mountains for you. Here was another test. Big lift in conversion rate, revenue per visitor, and profit per visitor. So yeah, just constantly just like testing offers, new price points, and as well as you know testing things on your website. You know, doing all types of conversion rate optimization. More tests here, and essentially, you know what I'm saying, you can have a lower AOV with your tests, and then essentially your profit per visitor can still go up because your conversion rate can go up, things of that nature. Or you can have a lower conversion rate, but your AOV goes up, you know what I'm saying? So your overall profit per visitor goes up. So like these are like soft proxy metrics. Like you really want to look at the bigger picture here, which is your profit per visitor. And then on top of that, you also want to look at overall profit dollar volume, you know what I'm saying? So like if like you, because like people get caught up on ratios. My mentor likes to say like ratios don't pay the bills, percentages don't pay the bills. You know what I'm saying? So like if you have the option, right, to make 10% of 100K, you feel me, right? That's $10,000, right? Oh shit, $10,000. And then if you had the opportunity to make 1% of 10 million, you know what I'm saying? If my math serves me correct, that's like $1 million. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, you want to optimize for actual profit dollars. You feel me? So that's just taking it a step further and a step deeper. And then once you dial in, literally, like once you dial in these two things, like this is like the hardest part of the funnel. You feel what I'm saying? Really just establishing that product market fit, because you can't really polish a turd. You know what I'm saying? So like really having a good product makes everything easier. You know what I mean? So establish product market fit, then establish price market fit. So once you establish this, you know, then you can move to this, right? But you can't really establish price market fit unless you have product market fit, if that makes sense. So it's very important that you spend a lot of time. It's very important that you spend a lot of time in this design portion. You know what I mean? And really doing a lot of research in the industry, looking at trends, looking at, how overall everything's trending. Even looking at seasonality trends. You feel me? Because at the time of the year, certain times of the years has different demands. So like if you're in summer and you're dropping like hoodies, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be shooting yourself in the foot. Let me do this. If you're in summer and you're dropping hoodies, you know what I mean, the demand is overall not there. You know what I'm saying? So you want to time up the marketing calendar and your product releases with the Google Trends and the seasonality of everything. You know what I'm saying? So really just nailing that down, right? Really nailing the product aspect down, and then you can move to the price aspect. You feel me? And then once you have these two dialed, right? Then, then all it comes down to is just driving traffic. You know what I mean? So once you have a winning product and a winning offer, all it comes down to is dialing traffic. And then you can either do that, through organic efforts on Instagram and TikTok, using Reels or whatever. TikTok kind of died for clothing brands. I used to be popping like organically on that bitch, but like it's kind of died now. You know what I'm saying? So I just be really utilizing paid ads. But yeah, it's the same concept, just creating content that's engaging, that also promotes your product. You know what I'm saying? So just driving traffic in any shape or form. You can you can product seed with influencers. I work with a lot of influencers, with the brand, just to get more eyeballs. Because at the end of the day, people can't buy what they don't know exists, right? So you got to just force feed people your product. You know what I'm saying? And TikTok Shop, if your brand is aligned for it at the moment, you can really capitalize. But it's also like you also got to manage, the idea of what type of brand you want to be associated as. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, this is I'll kind of show you guys some like creatives that worked well for this specific product in general. Like this one right here, as you can see, it's just a simple thing, simple GIF, 7.1 million views. This is just showing, our ideal customers. And these are all product seeding. So what you can do is actually hit up these influencers and send them a product in exchange for content. You know what I mean? So there's that. Officially hoodie season. You know what I mean? Just creating like good quality content. You feel me? Like hard fit. Everything is psychology. Like you gotta focus on the little things. That ad itself actually made me a lot of money on Facebook. And yeah. And then going on the Facebook side of things, just the same style of concepts. You feel me? This is just styling purple hoodies. Oh, shit tripping. You feel me? Something simple. You know what I mean? Just showing off the piece, right? Because fashion is simple. See it like it, buy it. So you don't really have to do too much from a creative standpoint. You just got to showcase the piece in an appealing way. And yeah, as you can see, spent like $11K on that ad. Got like a 2.7 return on there. The IG carousel that I was showing you guys. This is like an animation here. Animations kind of do well as well. So animation here. I believe it's another animation just to show you guys. Oop, shit. Another animation. All right, and then a grid style static that you can use. You know what I mean? These were like optimized for reels and stories. As you can see, like I said, not too much from a creative standpoint, more so just showing the product in an appealing way. But yeah, this is my secret group. It's my secret Telegram group. If you guys are seeing this early enough, then you can join my free group. I'm just giving out like behind the scenes and currently like what's working for me. Just giving some free value in there. I will be deleting the link soon. You know what I'm saying? Because I really want to keep it real private and real selective to only the serious people who want to start or scale their brand. You know what I'm saying? But I also do offer one-on-one mentorship. You can click that in the link in the description below, or you can just keep watching my videos. But yeah, my name is Jar. That's how I made $600,000 with one product, and you should check out this video next.